The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 280. Can you believe that, Ryan? Episode 280.
Yep, and if the Leafs made it deeper in the playoffs, it'd be a lot more than that.
It would. We'd be over 300 easy, but
yeah.
Episode 280. I was like, oh, man. How have we done 280 of these already?
I know.
One thing you can take to the bank with the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show is we are the model of consistency. You can rely on us every week. That's why some guy left a comment on one of our videos a couple weeks ago. And it takes a lot to get me to respond to a comment. But this guy was like, this show is unreliable. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? We're here multiple times a week. Are you crazy?
Yeah. Well,
but
he's entitled to his opinion.
He is entitled to his opinion, and we love everybody who comments on all of our videos.
At least he cares enough to comment.
It's true. It's true. We get so much great engagement with comments on every single one of our videos, and we really, really, really appreciate it.
Yep.
So at the time of this recording, Ryan, the Toronto Maple Leafs wheeled in to California, picked up 5 of 6 points. The last time we spoke was after the OT loss to the San Jose Sharks. They then went out on Saturday night and beat the LA Kings and followed that up with a victory over the Anaheim Ducks. Can I just say the California tour is the epic uni tour because those third jerseys the San Jose Sharks were rocking on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, those were
gorgeous. Gorgeous. The LA King unis are up there with the best in the league, in my personal opinion. And I get a lot of heat for this take, but I don't give a shit. I love the orange Anaheim Duck unis. Love them. Absolutely love them.
If you're going to commit to the full orange, then maybe, but they're a little busy for me. But those Sharks uniforms, those were awesome. I love those.
Yeah, they're nice. So they pick up 5 of 6 in California, and at this point in time have a 3-point buffer on the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Atlantic Division. When you look back on this weekend, Ryan, the last few weeks of this pod, because I like to think of us as like we're a pulse for the fan base. We're up and down. You listen to us one week, the sky is falling, trade everybody. You can't re-sign Marner. You can't re-sign Tavares. Put Brendan Shanahan in a rocket and fire him into the sun. And then you listen to us on a day like today, where they've had a pretty good road trip and are sitting top of the Atlantic, and things feel pretty good. Excuse me. So when you come away from a weekend like that, like, what's your takeaway? What is it that you liked about their game?
I think
this past weekend,
obviously the power play has been a lot better as of late. They do that when they give up a shorthanded opportunity going the other way, it is kind of terrifying. But the power play is firing, and if you go look at the league standings in power play, that they are back at the top 5, top 6 again. So they're scoring on the power play. So that's a positive. Another positive is, even though I was kind of pissed off after they lost in overtime against San Jose because I thought it was a blown opportunity, they get 5 of 6 points out of that trip, and it just shows that even though I don't think they have the sauce to get it done in the playoffs, they have the sauce to get it done against teams they need to get it done against most of the time. So, I mean, I didn't walk away feeling super confident about what's going to happen in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, they walked away with 5 or 6 points against 3 teams that LA's a pretty good team. Those are 3 teams you should probably beat. So overall, pretty good trip.
I loved the Saturday night win against the Los Angeles Kings because that's a good hockey team that was a playoff atmosphere, and it was capitalizing on special teams. It was goaltending, and it was just locking it down in a playoff style environment. And there were points in that game where it didn't look great. I thought they were terrible for pretty much all of the second period in that game. And I was texting you and texting other people being like, what is Austin Matthews doing? And it was as if he heard us because he came out in the third period and he looked like a completely different player and he led the way. I think, obviously, he's not going to have the type of season from a goal scoring perspective that he's had in previous years. But now you just got to kind of forget all that and shed all that and start trying to focus on being the best version he can possibly be heading into the playoffs. And one thing that I am really enjoying about this sort of fight that they've been in their division is we're literally just over 2 weeks out from the round one, game one, and we have no idea who they're playing. Right now, if it started tomorrow, they'd be playing the Ottawa Senators. They're still entirely possible that they play Florida and they play Tampa. The good thing is they control their own destiny now. You're 3 points up and you play Florida and you play Tampa. If you can pick up wins in those games, you're pretty much going to lock up the division.
Yeah. And I think I know we had this conversation about who you'd rather play in the playoffs. I think they need to win this division. I really do. I think it's an accomplishment. I think even though it's kind of been an up and down year in a way, to still win the division with Austin Matthews not scoring 69 goals and constantly wanting more from depth scoring, and your defense can't score any goals. Like, I think it would be an accomplishment. It would say a lot about the guys they've added in the offseason, their goaltending, and just the way they've been able to get it done against some teams in some games that they shouldn't have been able to win. But I mean, playing Ottawa scary in the first round, but I really want to see them get this division done. I think they need to get away from that 2-3 matchup, even though playing Ottawa is basically like a 2-3 matchup anyway. But I don't know. I think you go in against a fresh opponent, you win the division, you're feeling good about it, and you got home ice against most teams in the playoffs at that point. So I think they really need to get it done.
It's that time again, Ryan. We're going to talk about the third and fourth line, and we're going to talk about who the sixth defenseman should be, because I thought this was interesting during the pregame show on Sunday night before the Anaheim game. Justin Bourne was saying that he'd really like to see Phil Myers get into the lineup in place of Simone Benoit. Simone Benoit, I thought he had a pretty good game in Anaheim.
They were loving him after the game. They were gushing over the guy. There's like what game he had.
It's very clear that Berube prefers Benoit, and it's because of the physical element that Benoit brings. I prefer
Benoit too. I thought Benoit had a good year last year. I think he's had a pretty good year this year. I have no problem with Benoit. What has Phil Myers ever done? Like,
I think it's been so long since we've seen Phil Myers that there are people who kind of have the rose-colored glasses on with him a little bit and think that he's this like really good defenseman that they should sub into the lineup with OEL and take Benoit out. And it's kind of like, yeah, to me, Myers and Benoit have been pretty interchangeable all year. And like I said, Berube prefers the physical element that Benoit brings. And I think he just looks at it from like a playoff standpoint. And it's like, I prefer this guy out there in the playoffs. Now, he does turn the puck over from time to time, but they all do.
So like, they all do.
They all do, man. They all do. So it's like, I think there's a segment of the fan base that's just decided they're going to pick on this guy. And I think that for whatever reason, we're just looking at Phil Myers through this lens. Well, I know the reason. It's what I just said. It's because we haven't seen him in a while.
Everyone's bored. Yeah. There's nothing else to talk. It's like you get so sick of just ragging on the top guys. You're like, all right, let's just go back to the other conversation where we just make up fake scenarios about players who, like, come on. I know. Simone Benoit had a tough night. I forget which game it was. It was LA or San Jose. He got danced on one goal. He didn't look very good. But last night he played 17 and a half minutes. He was a +3. He had a point. Like, I don't like, the only thing I've seen from Phil Myers that I don't mind is I feel like there's a bit of maybe some offense out of him, because I like every time he has the opportunity to take a clapper, he takes it. And I think this team could use more of that mentality of just shooting the puck as much as you can.
You're seeing it all everywhere with the fan base, just ragging on Simone Benoit. And I just think it's funny how like we covet certain players And it's just all of a sudden, Phil Myers is just this guy that like, we got to get Phil Myers in here. It's like, dude, he's a sixth defenseman.
Give it a rest.
There's virtually no difference between him and Simone Benoit. He'd get in for 3 games and he'd start making all the same mistakes, and everyone would be like, we got to get Simone Benoit back in there. He brings a physical element.
It's the cycle of covering this team. You get bored of ragging on the top guys. You got to look at the sixth defenseman.
So let's talk third line now. Nick Robertson is scratched in the Anaheim game. I think it's pretty safe to assume, you can take it to the bank, that Nick Robertson will not be playing in the playoffs. I think Berube has given him as long a leash as he can. It's too small. I just don't see Nick Robertson getting it in the playoffs. They kind of hinted last week at Max Pacioretty drawing back into the lineup for come game 1. And so if you look at the bottom 6 right now, who are you taking out in place of Max Pacioretty?
I don't know.
I know who I'm taking out, but I don't think Craig Berube's going to do it.
I don't know. First of all, Nick Robertson had always had an argument that he didn't really get a fair shake. You've gotten a fair shake this year, buddy, and it's just not good enough. It really is not. And he's all of a sudden he's taking stupid penalties on a nightly basis too, which also doesn't help your cause at all. So see you later, Nick Robertson. Okay, so you have Lawton, you have Domi, you have Yarncroke, you have Lorentz, you have Camp, and you have Holmberg.
I would take out Pontus Holmberg, but he's Craig Berube's favorite hockey player.
He's been on the first line. He's literally. There hasn't been enough conversation this year about how much Craig Berube loves Pontus Holmberg. He loves it. I would
put Pacioretty on the third line somewhere, and then it's a question of who comes down to the fourth line. I would go
tap Callie Yarncroke on the back and go, see you in the press box, bud.
Yeah, like you've been out for chunks of the year.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I just have this thing with Pontus Holmberg. Love you, Pontus. I just have this thing with him. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything when he's out there. Offense dies on Pontus Holmberg's stick. I know when they came back from the Four Nations, he was red hot for the first time ever. But it's just, I don't know. But
loves his defensive game.
He loves him.
He loves
him.
A responsible guy.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen with Pacioretty's body too. Like the way. The way he's going,
I find even picturing him in the lineup it's like I can't even I'm not even in that headspace of inserting him in the lineup.
I like the idea of putting him in because of the physical presence he brought earlier in the year, and he's a guy too that if he gets in space and he can rip one home. So I don't know.
How long has he been out? He's been out for
a while. Yeah, he's been out for a while. Well, they shut him down. They shut him down for cap reasons as well. And obviously his body, they're just playing it safe with him. He doesn't need to be in the lineup right now. Like, get out, get rested up, and draw in for game 1. And if he can make a difference for them on those bottom lines, great.
He's played 37 games this year.
Yeah. He's been out for a good while. Yeah. So I don't know. I would take Holmberg out. If you look at down here though, honestly, if you're going based on Craig Berube's history, it may be David Kampf.
Yeah,
like you could see a scenario.
I think Kampf and Holmberg are pretty interchangeable.
I could see a scenario where the bottom 6 in game 1 is like this: Domi between Yarncroc and Pacioretty, and then Lawton centering Holmberg and Lorentz on the fourth line. That's what I could see Berube doing potentially.
Yeah.
And I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm saying that's what we could see Berube doing. So many times when you give a take like that, some guy shows up in the comments and it's like, what are you talking about? You said you. It's like, no, I'm saying what I think Craig Berube's going to do for game 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to change. I think guys are going to be in and out. I don't know. I think you're going to go with a game 1 lineup. And if they get their asses kicked in the first game, then you're probably going to see a different lineup in the second game. So,
oh God, man. Max Domi been pretty good lately, Ryan. Been pretty good lately.
Yeah, that was a nice
shooting
goal.
The puck.
Yeah, shoot the puck, man. Jesus Christ.
Submitted his candidacy for goal of the year in Anaheim.
Yeah,
absolute beauty.
It's not rocket science, man. Just shoot the puck.
Yes, and he's I feel like something's starting to click with him where you and I have said basically during his entire tenure here that he has to accept the role that this team needs him to play. And that's not going out there and being Mr. Puck distributor. It's being an agitator. It's chipping in with a goal here and there. It's being difficult to play against. It's being fast. He's one of the few guys. This is not a fast hockey team. Like, they're not. And he's one of the few guys on this team that can really move.
Yeah, that he needs to. Every single player with his problem needs to watch John Cooper on the bench during the Four Nations, where he's yelling at everyone to be selfish.
Yes,
it's like, yes, be selfish in the right way. Take that shot. Be the one who wants to put the puck in the net. It's not passing.
This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going. But that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Is it safe to say at this point, I know we still got a few games left and anything can happen, but is it safe to say at this point that Anthony Stolarz is the game one starter?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think it's safe. I think there's still a lot of hockey to be played. I see four. Like, you got two against the Panthers, you got one against the Lightning, and I think the one against the Habs is a big game too. So that's four opportunities for somebody. If Joe Woll goes out and absolutely dominates two of those games, then he's the game one starter. Like, I think this is coming down to the wire. No one's getting anointed right now.
I just think at this point in time, I think Stolarz is the front runner. I think that's fair to say. And I think at this point in time, it's his job to lose. Joe Woll was awful in the Thursday night game against San Jose. That's okay. We give him a mulligan. He comes back. He was all right against the Ducks. I still thought he looked a little shaky, like sliding around at times. He just didn't look comfortable. And Stolarz was excellent on Saturday night against the LA Kings. Yeah. And I just think with this team, the demeanor of Stolarz is what I like about him so much. So the fact that he's huge is also great, but just his ability to calm things down is what I've liked about him all year. And to me, he's in the driver's seat. It's his job to lose. Like, he's going to get that start on Wednesday against the Florida Panthers. He's 0-2 against his former team this year. That's a huge game for them, man. Like, they got to come out and make a statement. On Sunday, I watched the Montreal Canadiens go out in Florida against the Panthers and go toe-to-toe with that team and not back down from them at all. Winning battles along the boards, forechecking, pushing back after the whistle. And it's like, if that team can do it, so can the Leafs. There's no reason why the Leafs need to be intimidated by this team anymore.
And they play Montreal the night before, too. Again.
Yeah.
So yes, they're coming in on a back-to-back. They haven't looked good against them this year. I thought both losses, they just haven't looked very good against them.
They started the last Florida game. They started really strong, and then they just kind of died. And this team, they have ebbs and flows, man. Like, even the Anaheim game on Sunday, the Nyes goal they come out, and I thought they looked pretty good. Then the Nyes goal gets called back for the Marner high stick, which was the exact same play the night before with Matthews that counted, but apparently the next night it didn't count. And then they just died after that. And they were pretty average for the rest of the first period and let the Ducks take it to them. And it's just, they really do ebb and flow like that. But this is one of those things I sit back and I think to myself, this team, when I watch them, is under a microscope. I don't watch other teams as closely. Like, I'll sit and watch another hockey game, but am I examining another team as much as I am the Leafs? No. Is this, do all teams do this? Just shut her down for chunks at a time?
I don't know. But every night it seems like I look at this ticker watching the game and they're getting outshot. It seems like every single night they're getting outshot. And I just went back their past couple games, other than that Philadelphia game. And they did the same, and they tied the Sharks in shots. But every single night they're getting outshot. I don't know if that's always not an indicator of everything, but it seems like every single time I look at the score, they're getting outshot. So that tells me that they're playing more in their own end than they're playing in the offensive zone.
Yes, and and it's just their ability when they have the puck that I find is kind of sketchy at times. You don't see them make clean, crisp passes a lot and get up the zone. It's a lot of like flicking it along the boards or chipping it up ahead. There's no. Is that a coaching thing?
I'm sorry. Well, I don't see much of a difference between the way they played under Sheldon Keefe and how they play now. I think they just have better defensemen and they have better goaltending. I don't see a massive difference. Again, I saw it in the first 4 weeks of the season. I haven't seen it since. Yeah. So I don't think Berube's system my ass. They've kind of always played like this. In my opinion.
It's I don't know, man. You just watch these other teams and it's a lot of clean, crisp passing, and then you watch them and it's like.
I also think there definitely is a bias towards watching your own team. Like, there's no way every good team in the league doesn't have the kind of stretch of play that they have that we critique. I think every team has that, but I think just the fact that we watch them on a nightly basis and it's just seems like the other team always just has a bit of a better game plan. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough time of year though, man. Like if like all the games, like other than when they beat the crap out of Philadelphia, every game is a 1-goal game at this point. Like everyone's playing tight. Even the teams that are at the bottom of the standings are playing tough. Yeah. So it's just all about trying to get it done. And
the parity in the league is legit. There's no two ways about it. Like you're not going out there against, even if a team is at the bottom of the standings, unless they decide to shut the mill like the Flyers did last week, you're not going out there just rolling a team at this time of year. It's not happening. No. Okay, last thing I want to revisit before we get out of here. John Tavares continues to score. On our last episode, we talked a lot about what his next contract might be and just his legacy as a Leaf. So I just wanted to revisit the contract part because we're doing the thing again. Just makes me insane. You're on Twitter during the game and some insider is like, man, the Leafs should have locked up Tavares earlier in the year because that AAV is going up. It's like, I don't care, man. John Tavares could score 60 goals this year. You're taking $7 million or you're out of here, pal. Like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying,
you have to.
It's very clear that this team needs to address other aspects of their team, and one of the reasons why they haven't been able to do that is because of how much money they've been paying these 4 guys, and they just like Matt Nyes again. He's going to play a huge role. What's he going to get? Like, is he going to sign a long-term deal at a higher price point?
Someone's going to throw an offer sheet at him.
Exactly. Is he going to sign a long-term deal at a higher price point, or is he going to sign a bridge for a little less money? And he's a guy that I think is a pillar of their future. When we move on from this era into the next generation of Leaf hockey, Matt Nyes is going to be a part of whatever the next version of the core is, period. So you have to distribute this money elsewhere. And honestly, I'm happy for John. I think he's been excellent this year. I don't have a bad thing to say about him, other than the fact that he says really dumb things after they get eliminated in round 1 of the playoffs. But other than that, other than that, I'm really happy for the guy. But it just is what it is. Like, I'm at the point, he's had such a good year that if I'm Tree Living, okay, well, I'll talk $7 million with you. You had an excellent year this year. I'll talk another 2-3 years at $7 million per, no problem. But if we start getting up into the 8, no, sorry, John, no, that's not happening.
I'm doing if I, you know who did the Leafs a massive favor? I mentioned his name a couple weeks ago. I'd show him a picture of Steven Stamkos right there. Yeah. Here we go, John. This is your future right here. If you want to go to wherever the hell, whatever team's going to pay you, and you're going to go there and you're going to hate your life and you're going to have to uproot your entire family. And that guy's no leverage, man. He is zero. I think the Leafs would make a huge mistake by not lowballing him. It's like, I'm sorry. Look what the Bruins just did with Marchand. Like, sorry, bud. Like, I know you're our captain, but we're not paying you this. You're kind of an aging player. See you later. Same thing with the Lightning and Stamkos. You're an aging player. Get out the door. Go somewhere else. I know Marchand landed a good spot at the trade deadline, but ultimately, what teams are going to be able to sign him? It's not going to be, like, I don't know who it's going to be. So I think if you're an aging player in this league, like, you just got to lowball him. You have to. I'd throw $5 million at him. Be like, here you go. I don't care if you just scored 35 goals. Here's $5 million if you want to stay here and play here for the rest of your career.
Yeah, and then start there and let him talk you up to 7.
It's about time to play. If you're gonna play hardball with anyone, play hardball with the guy who has no leverage and who is an aging player who just wants to continue with this franchise. If you're not gonna play hardball with this guy, then just fire everybody in the organization.
Well, you just got to get rid of Brendan Shanahan. That's a hill I will die on and continue to die on.
It's time to lay the hammer down.
That's right. All right. Well, as mentioned earlier, they are at home on Wednesday against the Florida Panthers. Huge game. They win this game. That's like, they're just adding to their lead in the division. Getting this, they control their own destiny. I can't say that enough. Like, they are in the driver's seat here, and it's time for this team and this core group to recognize the moment and say, we've got a chance to do something that we haven't done here in all 9 years. The stat, like, Carlo Coliacovo had some stat on Twitter last week, like they've won their division twice in like 80 years or something ridiculous like that. And one of those times was the Canadian division, which was a fake division. Yeah. Wasn't even real. So you have an opportunity here
I think it's massive. I really do. I know we could sit here and be afraid of Ottawa, but I'm sorry. I don't want to play a team that's already won the cup and has been to 2 straight cup finals. I don't want to play a team that, even though they've beaten them in the past, they still have an all-world goaltender, and they've won Stanley Cups, and they've been to cup finals. I know it could be the disaster of a lifetime losing to Ottawa, but maybe that's a good thing because maybe that will incite change if they lose that series. But I would way rather take my chances against an unproven group and a goaltender who's never won anything in this league. So I think it's so important for them to win this division.
So there you go. So we will be back on Wednesday night after the Panthers game. We will be doing a post-game show after that one because Ryan and I are doing post-game shows for all the big Eastern Conference matchups this year. And we just, something about Leafs Panthers that we gotta jump on after and talk about what we see in that game.
It's free views because they just get their asses kicked.
Oh my God. We'll also be back on Sunday. They play the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday night as well, which is like Columbus is right in the mix. That's a team right in the mix, battling it out for a wild card. It's another team that's going to wheel in here on Saturday and trying to get a big 2 points. Like, you look at their schedule the rest of the way, I see the final 2 games against the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings are games that you can be like, okay, well, maybe we're going to coast into the playoffs here. But it's like, they got the Panthers. They got the Blue Jackets, who are in the midst of a playoff hunt. The Panthers again, the Lightning, the Habs, who are fighting for their life in a wild card spot. The Carolina Hurricanes, who are no slouch and always play the Leafs tough. Like, they got 8 games left, and 6 of these are no joke, man.
Yeah, honestly, I can't wait for these games to be over, though. I'm so over the regular season.
Yeah, we always feel like that at this time every year. But at least they've got some good, interesting games. We're not just like slogging it out to the finish
usually
line
it's
here.
like they're finishing third, and it is what it is, and whatever.
And we've known, like two years ago, we knew by like January that they were playing Tampa in the first round. The year Boston ran away with the division. Last year, we knew in the last couple of weeks that they were probably playing Boston. This year, it could go down to the wire as to who their round 1 opponent will be, and that's exciting. So Ryan and I will be here the rest of the way to cover that. Like I said, we're going to do 2 more shows this week. If you'd like to join us for those, hit the like and subscribe button below. As I mentioned, every week, we are 8 games away from the playoffs, and that means post-game shows. We'll be doing a post-game show after every single Maple Leafs playoff game. Hit the like and subscribe. If you're listening to the audio version, subscribe, leave a 5-star review there as well.
Spread the word, tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys on Wednesday after Leafs Panthers.